PC Hoops with Coach Kim English continues.
Welcome back to PC Hoops with Coach Kim English, and we are here with Kevin McNamara. K-Mac, let's break down the loss on Saturday, Villanova. A really critical point in the season where you don't want to see them fall. Where does that put this team? Like, are they on life support right now? What does this do?
Yeah, I like life support. That's not a bad answer. But I tell you, this time of year, everyone wants to bury people. You know, you're in, you're out, you're out, you're in. There's games to be played, and I thought Kim English made a good point of that post-game. They play the best team in the country next Saturday. Well, you know, Providence can't beat Connecticut. Well, of course they can beat Connecticut. I mean, they're in their league. They're on their home court. If they take care of business against Georgetown and Connecticut, they're right back where they need to be. If they don't beat Connecticut, hey, there's more games. You go to the Big East tournament, probably have to get, I think, at least to the semifinals of the Big East tournament. So there's games to be played. You know, is it time to panic? Well, of course. This is what March is all about, right?
And Villanova, is that just a bad matchup for them, or is this something that's more concerning about this Friars team?
Well, I do think it's a bad matchup, and I think they're one of the most talented teams in the league. And I wouldn't say they've underachieved. They underachieved. They had, I'd say, 2 to 3 bad losses in December, and they're still making those up. But if I'm the NCAA tournament committee, I look long and hard at that Villanova team. They have veterans. They're clearly shooting the ball really well. They play tough defense, and they're experienced. I like them.
There's a lot of teams that are kind of stacked together in that middle portion of the Big East standings, Providence being one of them. How much does that play a role in terms of the NCAA tournament and their chances when you look at all of those other teams who might be off by one, who's in, who's out, by one game or so? Yeah,
and I do think the bracketologists have it pegged pretty good. The middle of that Big East is going to be tight. St. John's they'll be favored to win their last 2. That's 11 wins. I think getting to 11 wins is going to be important. Then it's tiebreakers and the Big East tournament. I wouldn't say play-in games down in New York, but there could be 1 or 2 where you better win and not lose in that first round of the Big East tournament.
What does this Providence team have that says, okay, they should be a tournament team?
They have those quad 1 wins. I believe it's 5 right now. 3 road wins. You know, have an opportunity for another road win on Tuesday at Georgetown. Like to put that in your back pocket. But there's some issues with their resume as well, and that's why they're on that bubble line. Again, there's a few things that they could do to giant check marks. One is, of course, UConn next Saturday.
What can they do to beat UConn? Because they came close, or at least, let's say, played them tough in Stores. What can they do next Saturday in order to get that done?
Well, right now, Providence has issues on both sides of the ball, right? Especially defensively. Marquette put 90 points up on them. Villanova really shot. They made a lot of open threes. They need to guard the three-point line better. They need to play better defense. And this defense has been, you know, very inconsistent against the better teams in the league. Some of those teams, by the way, some of the best in the country. And I would regard certainly Marquette there and certainly Connecticut. What do they need to beat Connecticut? Connecticut now have a good shooting night from the outside. That's number 1. Maybe some foul trouble. We saw that in the first game. Too many fouls in that UConn game. And just they need more than 2 guys to score offensively, and that's a real key.
And I don't want to overlook Georgetown, because remember who is the coach of Georgetown. Do you think that he knows, he and his program, who obviously didn't get the warmest welcome here to the AMP, do you think that that's in their minds at all, that they could potentially put a needle in the coffin of this Providence team?
Well, I think Georgetown has been in a spoiler role for a while now, and they've played better in the last couple of weeks. They haven't been able to close the deal a couple times. They had Xavier really in a deep hole the other night, let a 15-point lead go. Providence is going to have to play well in that game, and the good opportunity to go on the road, sweep Georgetown, get some confidence to go into Connecticut and the Big East tournament. Tuesday is a very big game.
Why should teams be afraid of this Providence team? Should they be? Well,
the combination of Aduro and Carter is as good as it gets. Now, Devin Carter struggled a little bit. I think he went down in the first half of that game, the Villanova game. He's been nursing bumps and bruises for a couple weeks now. But the combination of Josh and Devin is legit and can win games. I wouldn't say all by themselves, but we've seen them dominate Big East games this season.
As a whole, this team, do you have any concerns in terms of the mental side of it and the toughness standpoint of the group?
No, we all know what their issue is. Once Bryce Hopkins went down, they got smaller. They're not as good of a rebounding team or a defensive team. And most importantly, on the other side, offensively, that third scorer, that fourth scorer, when they get it up and down their lineup, and we've seen that a few games, but the consistency to do that, that's really been a problem with this team. So, you give me some Corey Floyd and some Ticket Gaines and some Jaden Pierre on a consistent basis, this team's going to be difficult to deal with.
All right, K-Mac, thank you so much for joining us. More of the PC Hoops show continues after this.